Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of Gary's Place. I am Gary, this is Gary's Place, welcome to Gary's Place. So, been having a little issue with this setup that if you guys have been following, you're probably familiar with. But basically, I had a little issue with the original Fang that I printed out. Okay, and that was this fan wasn't providing enough cooling. And if you can see here, when I had to kind of ream out those holes to get these screws in here, it ended up splitting this mount. So I had already ordered these 5015 fans. I got a kit of 4 of them for, I don't know, $10 on Amazon. I did a video on that earlier. So, so you can see, got them all wired in here. I taped this instead of zip tied it because I don't like zip ties around single, or, well, there's 2 wires, but single individual wires. But I've been having this buzzing issue. I don't know if you guys have seen this clip. I put it on Thingiverse. Actually, whoops. I just gotta watch your fingers. I'm just waiting for this to heat up to start printing, but, you see this clip, it was supposed to stop a rattling noise that was happening because this was only secured with 1 screw. But I really have not been able to get rid of that issue. And then my other issue is, I don't know if you can see the hot end in there. See the Fang totally kind of goes around the hot end. You can barely see a little light coming out the backside. And then if you look at it over here, you can see that it's pretty well pressed up against there. There's a little bit of an air gap, but the vents, or the fins there are just, you know, kind of pressed right up into there. And so I decided to go with a different cooling setup, and I'm still trying to work out the little headaches because, of course, the new setup I want to do has different hole spacings and all that, so I got to redo my mount here, and I'm in the process of doing that. But like I said, this is going to be a 2-part. I just wanted to show you what my issues were, and as you can see, if you heard that buzzing noise, that's what I've been battling. So the other thing I've been battling is this. As you can see, I've been busy. I'm a little bit of a mess right here, but I've been printing out these retraction towers. My issue is that I can't retract as much as I used to with this new hot end because I get a jam. And it, you know, I think it starts a couple layers up and then it just jams and then it it doesn't print at all. Excuse me. So I've been trying to figure out my retractions without using, or I'm sorry, I've been trying to figure out the stringing problem without using retraction. Obviously, I've been pretty much a failure at that. So, bunch of issues. As you can see, I'm going through a few new mounts, couple of prints just to try to get everything spaced out. So I use some PLA, just because I don't really like printing with all my PETG when I'm still kind of sort of prototyping. But this gave me most of what I needed, and then after I printed the full go, I realized that my screws weren't long enough, so instead of running out to the store and getting some new screws, I'm just gonna take these little nut cutouts I have here, and I'm just making them deeper so that my screws will fit. That way, also to any of you guys that have printed out my setup and want to switch over like I'm doing, you can do that with the hardware that you already have. So I spent a little time searching the web and all that other good stuff, and apparently this retraction issue is semi-common with the E3D. Mine's a clone, but pretty well the same deal. Again, sorry about the mess here, guys, but I've just been going a little nuts. as you can see, I've tried a whole bunch of different types of these retraction towers, and I've just been a total failure at all of them because I need my retraction back. So, on E3D's site, they talk about how you need to make sure that you use the fan that's provided, and granted, mine's a clone, but it was still provided with a fan. And I think that's because the way this is set up, you know, this clips right into the fins, and the fan is right up near it because I guess the main issue is heat creep, and you got to make sure that you keep those fan fins exactly, you know, as cool as you can. I've seen threads where other guys were talking about how they they made a setup where they could put two fans on there, and I guess they ended up with other issues, but for my purposes, I just want to still use my one fan, but I want to get all the cooling that I need. And as I showed you on the actual unit, you know, the fan's there, it's blowing on it, but there's no real way for the air to vent through the back side of it because of that plate I have back here. So you can see the plates here, it's pretty much blowing right on it, but there's nowhere for the air to evacuate. And then also too, along the sides, you know, that's pretty well encased in there. So this is a little bit more open, as you can see. And so I found this mount, which of course is why I'm redoing my other thing, because the spacing for these holes is farther apart. And I told you about my other issues, but pretty much with this mount, I can mount my 5015 fan. It's even got 2 spots, so I'm actually mounting it completely. They have you print out one of these vents, which I kind of like and I kind of don't like. I like the fact that the air is coming out all the way around, but I don't like the size of the holes look too big because I don't really think a lot of the air is going to get around the tube into the front. And then also too, I think this ring is a bit too big. I mean, it's going around it, but it should be a little bit closer in my mind at least. But I'm going to give it a shot, see how that works. But this allows me to keep my 5015 fan that I installed on the machine. That way I don't got to rewire it. And then this makes it so I can mount it fully, so I can get rid of my buzzing noise. And this is the fan shroud for the fan, and as you can see, it's a lot closer to this, but the best part about it is it sits on the side, so that on the other side, sorry guys, ran out of juice there. This comes on, clips onto the side. I actually checked it out because I did a dry fit earlier today, and it sits very nicely on the fins. But also too, since it sits on the side, it's wide open on the back side, so it can actually have airflow, you know, going through and out. That way it's not just like this one where it's probably just building up a whole lot of pressure behind the fan, and actually if I put my hand right here, I can feel the air pushing through here because the pressure's too great. So this, I think, should fix my issue. The other thing I found on E3D was that it's more important to get the entire fin area cooled, which this would, because it completely fits the entire fin area, especially the bottom, because obviously that's where you're going to get your heat creep coming up, and that's where you're going to get your jams and all that good stuff. So very excited to get this on there. I think that the reason that they angled this the way they did was also to kind of divert the air kind of lower to make sure that those lower fins get cooled very nicely. So I'll leave a link to that below. I think this was some pretty good designing. Not such a great print job as you can see, but I've been having a little bit of issues, so you know, we'll let that slide today. So once I get everything all printed out, I wanted to do this video first to show you my setup, and then I'll probably have everything installed before I do my the next half of this video, and that way you guys can see you know, what went on, how it went. You'll probably get my normal rant, but alright guys, until the next one, take care.